Here we go. Ready, set. Hello, hello again. Welcome back. Today we are talking about collaboration. Collaboration is the fastest and most sustainable way to grow your audience and authority. So, we're going to talk today about how you can actually collaborate more and therefore build your business better. Our guest today is Jessica Cooper. I was a I was a participant in her recent summit, and she works with motivated and six-figure introverted entrepreneurs, I think. So she'll tell you a bit more. Anyway, we welcome her today, and we welcome you. Thank you for joining us. We are Nate and Simone. We talk all things marketing, and we're gonna kick it off. Hey, Nate. Hey, Jessica.
Hello, hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome, Jessica. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Nice to be
Good to meet
here.
you. Yeah. So one thing that we talk about a lot here on our program, channel, whatever you want to call it, podcast, is what I call the V3 system. And that consists of visibility. So, making sure that everybody can, like the right people are seeing you at the right place and the right time. But then also everybody on your team has access to the information they need when they need it. Viability is, you know, can the business stand on its own two legs? And value. Are you building of something that has value, or is it, mainly a glorified job, right? And in the context of what we're talking about here today, talking about partnering with people, collaborating and whatnot. So that visibility aspect, partnering can expand reach, through aligned audiences, like multiplies the effect, right? And viability, doing so in theory could reduce the strain on your solo marketing efforts, right? By relying on somebody else in that case, or doing it together. And then value, building authority and trust helps build long-term equity in your brand and your business. So I think we're checking all the boxes here today. So, um, so let's get started. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, how you got here?
Yep. So my name is Jessica Cooper, and I own JM Cooper Pro LLC. It's a digital marketing agency and consultancy, and I've recently started to branch out into coaching. And so my main focus right now in my business is helping introverted online entrepreneurs create their own high ticket signature offer. Because when you've got a signature offer, it kind of helps all of the rest of your business and your marketing fall into place, because you know exactly what you're going to be talking about in your marketing. And then if you want to create like a mid-ticket and a low-ticket offer, they all are designed to branch up to that high-ticket offer. That way you're leading any prospects or potential clients or people who do purchase from you at the low ticket offer. You've got a value ladder for them to eventually move up to that high ticket offer. So that's where I'm focused at right now, helping introverted entrepreneurs like myself create their own high ticket signature offer.
So what inspired you to focus on collaboration as a strategy?
So for me, being an introvert, you know, marketing can sometimes feel, I guess you could say, it can feel a little challenging at times, because for me, like constantly having to be out there posting online, it can be
Yeah.
draining sometimes. And
Yeah.
so collaboration is really a way to leverage other people's audiences via these strategic relationships or collaborations in order to kind of, I guess you could say, uh, build more velocity in your marketing faster. Because when you're just doing like your own solo marketing, you're kind of like post by post by post trying to build up that audience. But collaboration, especially for introverts, is really a great way to leverage other people's audiences to get your message out there faster into a wider audience than you probably would be able to otherwise. So that's really what inspired me to start looking for collaboration type opportunities, because it's really all about leverage. And in your business, if you want to go further faster, it's all about finding ways to leverage, whether it's other people's audiences, leverage other people's expertise. It's all about getting there faster and going further using leverage.
Yeah.
So, you said that you're an introvert. How long did you go before you realized that this was a good path to take? I'm just curious.
You know what? Like, it's one of those things where there was a lot of resistance for me. Like, I had been wanting to do my own summit for several years now, and I didn't do my first summit until this year.
Mm,
So like, it's really one of those things where, as an introverted entrepreneur, sometimes we have to step outside of our own little bubble, and realize that it's all about serving other people, and that should be the basis of our business. And one of the best motivators for me was finally coming to that point where I really and truly fully realized that if I'm going to put on a summit and I'm going to do this and get out of my own way in order to accomplish it, I've got to put the audience first. I've got to put the potential customers first, prospects first, and serve them and give them what they're looking for. And I find that that's the best motivator at times for me when I can't seem to get out of my own way as an introvert, because I'm like worried, oh, well, I'm going to post this, or people are going to see this, they're going to judge me. But the best way to get out of that way of thinking is just to remind yourself that you are here to serve. And there are people out there that need to hear your message. There are people out there that can really and truly benefit from what you offer as an entrepreneur. And so like I said, it took me several years to kind of get to that
yeah.
point, but and a lot happened in between then, a lot of like soul searching and things like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But once you do it, you start to realize that taking action really does build momentum in your business. So if anyone out there is, hesitant about, either hosting a summit or doing podcasts or things like that, doing things that make them or that require them to be more visible, just try to remind yourself that it's really all about serving your audience. And there are people out there who need to hear your message and hear your story. And they will truly benefit from what you've got to offer.
Nice.
I had somebody say that to me once, like to help me get over my fear of public speaking. And I was telling them that, yeah, man, getting on stage and talking in front of people is just so hard. And he said, get over yourself. It's not about you. Talk to them. They're here to hear the message that you have. You have something that's going to make their lives better. So focus. So really, he basically telling me to focus outward. Pay attention to what they want and what they need. And if you do that, then it's and you take the focus off of yourself, because we all have our little hangups and like, oh, this is not right, and oh, I need to fix that, and I need to fix the other thing. It's like nobody cares about any of that stuff. They're just here to hear what you have to say. We all look like what we look like. Just go with it.
Yeah, it's what I tell people. Everybody that goes to the website, for example, has one question in mind, right? When they come there, that is, what's in it for me? And I think it's the same thing if they're coming
It's the
to
same thing.
seeing anything, right? Like, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. That's all they care about. And that's what they want to hear. And if you can provide that to them, then they're going to be happy, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, I think so.
um, okay. So, do you have examples of how what you have done or what you do has helped clients attract the right audience faster? Or
Yeah, so I mean, I can speak for myself on this one. So
okay.
like, hosting a summit is one of the probably the biggest thing, or is the biggest thing I've done in my business so far. Like, the planning, the everything that goes into planning a summit, organizing a summit, launching it, and making it happen. Once I did that, I realized, and I really and truly did realize after, was that it really is a way to kind of springboard yourself into your ideal audience. So, like for me, like I don't help other people put on summits. There are plenty of expert coaches out there for that, and I do recommend you do get a coach. If anyone out there is thinking about doing a summit, I got a coach. Do get an expert coach if you want to do a summit. But for me, it was like seeing that end result afterwards. I was like, okay, like this really did help me to springboard myself into maybe not a huge audience, but what it did help me do was kind of put myself in front of my target, targeted audience or my ideal audience. And so what I can say is that it did help me to get there faster. And once again, it's all about that leverage. So if anyone out there is thinking about doing any kind of a summit, I do highly recommend it. And it's a great way for you to build up an audience. I'm not saying you're going to build up a huge, huge audience, but it's a great starting point and also a great way for you to start kind of collecting feedback from your ideal audience to see what is it that they're looking for. What are their main pain points? Where are they at in their business? If you're targeting like B2B customers, or if you're targeting B2C customers, like just what are their pain points? What do they need? What are they looking for? And then how can you put together something to help serve that audience and give them what they need?
Do you ever see a problem where a business owner, wants to collaborate, but they end up competing? Has that ever been an issue?
I've never seen that, but I do think that sometimes, as I know for me as a solo entrepreneur, we tend to think that way, like everyone's competition, and that's not the case. It's really not the case. Well, actually, I can say there was, I think, one person who may have chosen not to participate in my summit because they felt like my high ticket offer was in competition with theirs. And so, I did kind of see that, but at the end of the day, I think really what it all comes down to is that people are going to choose you because they fit with, or they align with you rather. So like they align with your energy, they align with your method, they align with your frameworks or your system. And so they may choose you over another person just because they feel like you're a better fit. So it really doesn't matter if you're offering the same thing as someone else. I mean, we can all look around as entrepreneurs and see probably 100 other businesses or 100 other entrepreneurs that are doing something similar to what we're doing. Nothing's really new these days, but it's all about your unique way of serving your audience that's going to help differentiate you from your competitors. So when it comes to collaboration, don't look at similar people in your business field or your industry as really being your competition. I've seen plenty of other entrepreneurs collaborate, and I've been really surprised. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but I was really surprised when I saw like one big time entrepreneur collaborating with another big time entrepreneur. And I was like, well, they've got competing products, very similar product offers, very similar SaaS platforms. And when I saw them collaborating, I was like, wow, that was a real eye opener for me that as entrepreneurs, we really can't think of this as us versus them type of thing. We have to be looking at this from a collaboration standpoint.
All right. So
Absolutely.
to our audience out there, visibility, you're building resonance here, right? Not noise, by collaborating. Collaboration also multiplies your reach because have two separate sources of trust there, right? At least two, if not more. And then when you're aligned on visibility, that helps to yield higher quality leads, presumably as well, right? So it sounds like it's a win-win-win-win-win all the way around. Okay.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
have to say, like from my perspective, being a participant in Jessica's summit, her system was just so I got to see it from both angles, from a speaker perspective and from an attendee perspective, because I signed up as an attendee as well. And, it was the way you had set everything up. It was just so well organized and so well structured. It didn't like nothing was left to chance. And I thought, my goodness, this is really, really awesome. Like how you set this all up. And I could tell like you're using the same like software SaaS system that I use, which, I don't even know how people go a day without it, because it does everything. But just beyond that, it was like you thought of everything. It was just very, very well thought out. And I can see if you do this multiple times, you may not get the number of people on your list this time, but say you do the same thing again in 6 months, you have maybe a different theme, and that new theme attracts maybe a higher level of participant or speaker, and they have bigger audiences. But now you've practiced it, you've got it, you've done it before. So now you go to you select a new theme, you go to maybe higher level entrepreneurs who have more people in their audiences. You do this again, boom, you know, lots more people. You take that practice and do it again, just from end to end. I thought it was just very, very well thought out. And I can see how doing a summit like this, the way you did it, was just like how it could absolutely build your audience like exponentially.
Yeah.
And that way you're they're out here and they're sharing you with their audiences get to know you, and now they're more interested in what you have to offer. And yeah, the summit was a lot of work, but you're not out on social media just putting out messages that aren't landing all the time. And people, when they meet you, they're kind of spending a lot of time with you just right off the bat, which builds no like and trust that much more quickly. So I mean, yeah, I think that summit it was great. That was the best summit that I've seen. One of the
Thank
best.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
part of your offer, Jessica, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is you are actually helping the businesses that come to you or that you are working with to do summits. Again, I have not done this myself, so I don't know, but you help me out here. But are you helping them with getting their whatever they're doing, their model aligned with their energy and their values? How does that work? Or are you trying to coordinate it with your own, or like what is that all about?
So just to be clear, like I don't help other people do summits or launch their
Okay.
own summits. I help
Okay.
them create their own high ticket signature offer. But
Okay.
I help them do that in a way that is aligned with their energy, aligned with how they want to work as introverts. And so if doing a summit is part of that, I would definitely encourage that. But I mean, for me, my main focus is really just helping people create sustainable businesses that are aligned with their energy as introverts. So that's the main thing that I
Okay.
do focus on. But if someone wants to do a summit, I do highly encourage it. But I can always refer them to my summit coaches, the people who helped me, because really the basis for how organized, as Simone was saying, my summit was really their system and their way of doing things. And I obviously built on that. A lot of administrative things behind the scenes that weren't even part of what my coaches taught. I just kind of came to the table with my own, corporate experience in that area. But if you want to do a summit, like definitely make sure that you are working with other entrepreneurs that are aligned with you as well. I think it's also important to have people on who are aligned with you, and don't get discouraged if you're talking to potential speakers and they say, I don't think this is the right opportunity for me at this time. Do not get discouraged, because the right people are going to be the speakers at your summit, and those are going to be the people that are able to serve your audience the best.
All right. So a summit is a great example of way to collaborate with
Yes.
people who are in a similar vein, perhaps.
Yep.
But you're basically expanding your audience or multiplying your audience by being exposed to everyone's audience, right? Is that the
Yep.
concept? Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh.
All right. So I'm so curious about this energy and values, especially when it comes to introverts. What kind of energy do introverts usually have?
Well, I can really only speak for myself. I don't want to, stereotype all introverts, but what I can say is that, like, for me, like, I want to say extended, I guess you could say, like, conversations, always
Like this
having
one,
to
for
be
example.
on. Well, this one's okay. This one's okay. But I mean, like, doing it over and over and over. So,
Yeah.
like, for
Yeah.
instance, like having to always be on, like, I think a lot of the times you look at other, like, I'll just call them like content gurus, content experts who say, you have to go live all the time, live on
Yeah.
Facebook, post on TikTok. For me, that would be so draining, because it's like, one, I have to come up with the content. Two, I have to now go and make it. And then three, I have to watch as people either respond to all the energy and effort I put in, or don't respond. And when people don't respond, when your content doesn't land, it kind of feels like defeating, because it's like, as an introvert, I had to put all this energy into doing this, and I heard crickets afterwards. So for me, it's kind of like not wanting to feel like I always have to be on. Like, I can be on, like, now. I can be on when I need to, like, I'm hosting a summit and I'm interviewing speakers. I can be on when I'm signing up, or reaching out to potential speakers to try to get them to be speakers at my summit. I could be on in certain, like, in chunks, I guess you could say, but like having to do it like every day, that can be draining. And I know that is draining for other introverts as well.
Someone I know has built a significant following on Facebook by doing lives.
Okay.
And it's like, it's gotten to the point where if she doesn't do it, people try to find out what happened to her. Like where did she go? Do we need to send an ambulance? Like it's and to her, like, hearing her say it, it's extremely draining, and it's something that she wants to get away from, but it's like she can't, because doing so would basically, knock her legs out from under her as far as her business is concerned, right? So it's an interesting
Really
conundrum
interesting.
to be in, I guess. But
So maybe she has to start doing something like what Dave Ramsey's been doing. He started a few years ago introducing these other personalities as part of his business. And so now they'll come on and they'll do like co-hosting with him on the show. And you get used to them, and he'll talk about them and their stories, and they get to introduce themselves to his audience while he's there and he's co-hosting with them. And then he'll start to kind of phase out and take breaks where they are now hosting the show solo, or they're hosting with another personality, and and he's not there anymore. So she'll have to like start probably phasing herself out that way, introducing other people, or Yeah, that kind of thing.
So
Because
you're
yeah,
saying there's
she's
a
gotten
chance.
her. There is a
Yeah.
chance. She has a chance, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be very strategic, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to go back to that conversation about about introverts. For me, I've been I'm kind of both, but in my introverted self, I don't like to do lives. I avoid them like the plague. But like for this, I'll do it because, well, for one thing, there's other people here and I'm not doing all the talking. And and we're having a conversation back and forth like that. I don't mind just having conversations with people, but like if I'm doing a live and there's nobody here that I can see that's actually responding verbally to my comments and different things, lives are just difficult for me. So I've avoided them so much. And then another thing too, for me is that the consistency is hard, has been hard for me, just like staying consistent with certain things. And this is why I like automation so much and why I love that SaaS tool so much, because you can just automate all these great things. And having the automation stay consistent, like every week I put together a free group, a free community. And I want engagement in the community, but I myself am not very I'm not very consistent with with posting and all that stuff. So I set up my posting to go out three times a week, and it is consistent. I've thought about all I wanted to say ahead of time, and it's consistent. And then people will go in and they'll engage in the post, and then I can come behind them and comment on their comments and stuff like that. So that's actually been a big help. So I don't have to be there all the time thinking about it and having to be like, be on this strict timeline, I guess. So
Yep. It's all
yeah,
about the leverage.
introverts come in different stripes too.
Yep.
But yeah,
So
I think that one is mine, like the
yeah.
consistency.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that one for sure.
Yeah.
I'm introverted as well, believe it or not. I'm like a introverted extrovert to some extent.
Yeah, I
Those
am too.
exist, but
Yeah, they do exist.
it's a matter of where you get your energy, I think, and how you deal with energy, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, being around too many people for too long wipes me out. I know that,
Mhm.
but some people, it just keeps them going and going, right? But anyway, so uh, Jessica, do you help kind of diagnose where someone's at as far as, their energy with their business, if they are in alignment, out of alignment?
Yep,
What is,
yep, I do. So
okay.
one of the things that I do offer, just kind of like as an entry level type thing, it's totally free, is, if someone reaches out and they say like, hey, like like if I'm doing a discovery call, I guess you could say it kind of just starts
Yeah.
with that initial assessment, like what's working, what's not, what have you been doing, what's draining you, what are you having trouble keeping up with in your business? Why do you think that's happening? If we can figure out, what's keeping you stuck, or what's giving you problems, we can start to pinpoint why that's happening, and then from there we can create a start to create a plan for you to put together a sustainable business. And that's kind of like what I do. Like, yes, I'm helping people create a
Gotcha.
high ticket signature offer, but I'm helping them do so in a way that is sustainable, because I know that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. My ideal
Yeah.
client are people who are like me, who don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to have like a 57-step funnel or anything like
Yeah.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
you just want it real simple, something that you can, um, it's like, I know people are going to be coming into this offer. This is how I'm going to start them out. This is what I'm going to offer them after a discovery call. If they accept, great, we'll move on to here. If they don't, I have a plan for them to maybe go into a free Facebook group or something like that, where you can continue to nurture them until they're
Hmm.
ready to take the next step on their value ladder.
Gotcha.
So, but for me, it's really all about helping people figure out like what's working, what's not, and how can we make this more sustainable so that they can start to see, more revenue coming into their business on a more consistent basis.
Gotcha. So can you give some signs that where the founder is out of alignment, like they want to do something, but it's just not fitting them, because they're an introvert?
Yeah, so I would probably say, like if you procrastinate a lot, um, like if you are feeling a lot of resistance towards something, that's probably like the hugest sign. I know it was for me, and for years I ignored it. So when I first started my digital marketing agency, I did it targeting the typical audience that you see for a digital marketing agency, and that's local businesses. And I totally support, local businesses, but as a target audience, I always felt out of alignment with them. Like everything just felt like a chore, like coming up with things to post about on social media, coming up with offers, sticking with an offer. I mean, I changed my offer every 3 months or so. Like I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really stick with something. So I didn't just avoid doing it. I kind of switched it up so much that I didn't really have a consistent offer that I was putting out there. But that's because, like, as much as I love local businesses, that's just not the audience I feel called to serve, because you go out there and you look online for anyone teaching like how to start your own digital marketing agency, they're all talking about going after local businesses. And so
Yeah.
that's what I did. And for the longest, I was out of alignment with who my real target audience was. And it just created a lot of resistance and procrastination for me. I would say another sign that you are out of alignment in your business would be like confusion, like you don't really know what to do. And I kind of touched on that when I said, I was going back and forth between offers, right? Like one moment it's reputation management services, the next it's Google business profile setup and management. Then, it's SEO. Like, which one is it? Like I couldn't really pick an offer to stick with. So because I was confused about which one I should be focusing on.
Yeah.
And I would say probably like another sign would be, and you know, like if you feel resentment towards your target audience, or resentment about your business in general, or the industry that you're in. So resentment can be like, oh my gosh, like I have to get on another call with another local business owner who just wants me to give them like the lowest lowball price, and they don't see my value, right? Like I don't want to get on this call with this person. Or it could be you, like I said, resenting your own business. Like, why did I get into this business? Why did I start this business? Like you start thinking maybe entrepreneurship isn't for me. That's not the case. You're probably just not aligned with your target audience, or something in your business is out of alignment, and so it's causing you stress. And so anything that makes you feel stressed, anything that makes you feel resistance or procrastination, those are clear signs that something is out of alignment. Anything that makes you pause and stop, that means you're out of alignment.
That makes so much sense. I am so glad that you said that, because like they teach you that, like when you're going into digital marketing, pick some local niche, pick the plumbers, or the roofers, or the appliance salesman, or whatever it is, some local niche, and go after them. That's your niche. And I'm looking at all of these and I'm thinking, like, I mean, I get what they do. It's needed, of course, absolutely. Right. But it's like I don't want to spend all my time with them necessarily. Right. I need something else. I need somebody else, So yeah, it's so true. That's what they tell you. But yeah, you can feel very unaligned, and you just don't wanna do it. Like Yeah, they tell you either make the phone calls or you're going go get the Google Maps and
Yeah.
go through the Google Maps and call all the ones that don't have a website, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cold calling can be very draining for introverts. I know I tried
Oh
to
my
do that when I
goodness.
was trying to get my local business digital marketing agency off the ground. And cold calling is one of those things where if you're an introvert and you haven't
It's
found
the
a way
worst.
to manage your emotions through that, like it's the
Yeah.
quickest way to just
Yeah.
like halt yourself
Yeah.
in your business.
It truly
Yeah.
is the worst.
That'll burn you out
Uh,
real fast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming then if you are more aligned, then that leads to better retention for customers, better outcomes overall. How does that work?
Yeah, definitely. So when you're aligned, especially with your target audience that you're serving, for one thing, it's easier to get motivated even when like you're an introvert and you may feel drained. I know for me, it's kind of like, well, okay, I may not feel like doing this marketing right now. I may not feel like writing content or, trying to put something together to put out there to serve my audience, but I always go back to what do people like me need? I'm here to serve them. So when I'm in alignment, especially with my target audience, I feel motivated to serve. And that's one of the biggest things. And whether you're an introvert or not, being aligned with your target audience is one of the biggest things that I think can lead to sustainable success in your business. Because, like I said, it all comes down to motivation because you're not always going to be motivated. Let's get real here, real talk.
Mhm.
As an entrepreneur, you're not always going to be motivated to get up and work because it's different when you're working a 9 to 5 and you've got a boss over
Oop,
you.
just lost.
But when you're an entrepreneur, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah, we
yep,
can
you're
hear you
back.
Okay.
again. Yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, you don't really have that. No one's like watching over you and saying, Jessica, it's time to get up and work. You have to put
Mm,
yourself on that schedule. You have to have that discipline. And I find that when you are aligned with your target audience, when the offer that you have for your target audience is aligned, and when you have a business model that is aligned with your energy, once again, it's just easier to stay motivated to do the
yeah.
things that you need to do to
Hmm.
be to have that continued I want to say revenue coming into the business, right? And to
Sure.
be consistent in your marketing, be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing in your business. So alignment is always key because
Yeah.
when you're out of alignment, everything is forced and it's hard and it can be very demotivating when you're out of alignment.
Mm, yeah, definitely.
And
So,
that's one of the reasons why people say like to, do what makes you passionate,
Yeah.
because if you're passionate, even when things don't go right, you're still excited to jump out of bed and get to it.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah,
if you're not, if it's just something I do, it's just a job, then
yeah.
when
What?
things take a downturn, you have no reason to get up and go to it.
Yeah. What is the saying? Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. So,
Yeah,
something along those
yeah.
lines. Um, all right. So viability, folks out there listening. That's the one of the V3s, right? Viability, having systems that support how you work best is going to lead to a more viable business, right? Collaboration leads to prevention of burnout, right? You're relying on others, you're using others as leverage to help you, keep you going.
Mhm.
Um,
That helps with the exponential growth with less effort.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And keeping that energy aligned, obviously, helps you create sustainability in your business. So these are all keys, important messages here. Okay, um, let's get into collaboration, a little more into collaboration as building, a way to build value in the business, right? So what makes a partnership truly aligned, Jessica, in your view?
What makes a partnership truly aligned, I would say, would be, for one, they have an audience that is aligned with who your target audience is, right? You just want to make sure that you're not collaborating, at least not too often, I would say, with people who like they don't serve the same audience that you serve, or a similar audience, or their audience makeup does not consist of who your ideal client would be. So you just want to make sure that there is audience alignment there, because if the goal is to leverage other people's audiences to build up your audience quicker, you just want to make sure that you're aligning yourselves with other people, other entrepreneurs that have similar audiences.
Yeah,
I
somebody
will.
with a education audience, and if you're trying to reach B2B, that's going to be,
Yep,
not going to help
exactly.
you much, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, right.
And then I would say probably values as well. Like you want to make sure that you're aligning yourself and collaborating with people who have similar values, right? So, I know, like for me, just as a person, just who I am personality wise, like I'm big on integrity, and I would never align myself with other people who didn't have that same level of integrity, right? So for me, when we say values, and making sure that we're aligned with people who have similar values, it's really, for me, it's all about integrity, and just making sure that I'm aligning myself with people who have the same level of integrity as me and honesty. And like I'm a very straightforward person, very like right and wrong, I guess you could say. Like this is right, this is wrong. Like there's not a whole lot of gray area with me when it comes to that kind of stuff. So just making sure that I'm aligning with people who have the same level of integrity as me. And then I would also say, just like in terms of maybe to a lesser degree, like energy alignment. So you don't necessarily like when I put on my summit, not every speaker who spoke at my summit was an introvert. I wasn't necessarily interested in having only introverted business owners or entrepreneurs speak at my summit. Anyone could have spoken at my summit, just as long as they were delivering the right message to the audience that I
Mm.
wanted to attract. So, like to a lesser degree, I would say energy alignment, but you just want to make sure that if you have like a long-term collaboration with someone, that you guys do perhaps have a little bit stronger of an energy alignment. That way, like you're an introvert and they're an extrovert, like you just have to find that power dynamic equilibrium, I guess you could say, and just make sure that aligning with that person and collaborating with that person is sustainable long term if you're doing any kind of like long-term partnership.
Gotcha. So if, let's say, one of our viewers out there is feeling isolated, as an introverted business owner, how can they start the collaboration process? What's the first step they take?
I would say probably the first step would be just getting really clear on why you want to collaborate. It can't just be simply like, I want to build my audience. It has to come from the heart with who you feel called to serve, who your target audience is. So
Mm.
I would say the first step is just really getting clear on why you want to collaborate, what you hope to get out of it, and what you hope your target audience can get out of that. Because you just want to make sure that you're bringing value to the table from the get-go.
Mm.
And then, just making sure that whatever your offer is going to be during that collaboration, making sure that that's aligned with the people that you want to collaborate with. And then I would say just making sure that these collaborations that you're seeking out, especially if you're going to be doing any kind of collaboration on a longer term basis, like I mentioned earlier, just making sure that they're energy aligned. If it's, I would say if it's like a quick collaboration, nothing that you're going to be doing long term, it may not be that big of an issue if you guys don't align on energy, but anything long term, you just want to make sure that it's a sustainable kind of relationship.
Do you have any kind of a, assessments or something like that that they can take and just to kind of get an idea or?
No real assessments or anything. I think it
Okay,
really all comes down to having conversations with people. So like as I
good.
was talking to people,
As an introvert, you're forcing them to have a conversation with you.
well, it's like we can't avoid it, especially when it comes to like collaboration. We have to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think for me as an introvert, putting on a summit this year really helped me to realize that, like, hey, I can do this. I can talk to people. It is actually possible. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that, oh my gosh, I forgot where I was going with this.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, just talking to people it's not that super difficult. It's just like you can feel people out as you're having those conversations with them. So no assessment or anything is
Yeah.
needed. Like usually people are going to be straightforward with you. That's the experience that I had in
Okay.
speaking to potential speakers for my summit. Like people were always very straightforward and honest with me. And I think you're going to find that most often. People are usually straight shooters for the
Yeah.
most part. And you'll usually find out pretty quick, like if something with that person is out of alignment with you.
Mm. Do you
Oh,
recommend things like Toastmasters, for example?
Oh, I do. So I have been
Good.
wanting to get into or join Toastmasters for years now, and I keep avoiding it.
Okay.
But I do recommend it. I do highly recommend it. If you've got the time, join Toastmasters because it's definitely still on my to-do list. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Cool.
hmm.
All right. Simone, you
What
got something there?
questions do you ask to find out to find out if someone is in alignment with you?
Well, I mean, I think it kind of starts off with telling them about myself, right? Like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, and this is what I hope to get out of it. No, and I'm not sure if you recall, Simone, like when we got on that initial call when I spoke to you to tell you and give you information about my summit and what I was trying to do with it. Like that was the general structure and flow of the call. And so if you start with those things, who I am, what I do, why I'm doing it, and what I hope to get out of it, that you're going to find out really quick over the course of a short conversation, is this person aligned? Because if they're not aligned with you, they're going to start to push back. They may have all these kinds of, I don't want to call them crazy questions, but like you can usually tell. Like, once again, not naming names, but there was kind of one person that I was trying to just schedule a call with to tell them about my summit, and they just never had the time, right?
Mm.
They never had the time. It was always something. It was always like, I don't see any times on your calendar. I would open up time slots. It would be days or a week before I heard back from their assistant. By that time, those days and times I had opened up on my calendar were gone. And so it's like that's a person that's not aligned with me, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can find out just by either having conversation with them, whether it's verbally or via email, in writing. People are going to give you signs and signals that they are not aligned with you. Always go with your gut. Do not second guess yourself. That's the best advice I got for anyone out there. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Don't do it because you're probably going to regret it. So you can usually find out, like I said, people are going to give you signals one way or another as to whether or not they're aligned with you.
Okay.
Very
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So, have you seen long-term benefits from collaboration-based growth strategies?
I think I think so. I think so
Okay.
because like I said, it really comes down to leverage, and that's what it's all about. If you want to go further, faster in your business, you want to have leverage, and how you go about getting that leverage can be different depending on what it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to build up your audience faster, so you could get to whatever revenue goal you're trying to get to faster, the best way to do that is to find other people who are aligned with who you are and who you are trying to serve, and find ways that you can collaborate with those people. And just always remember that that collaboration should be mutually beneficial, right? It can't just be one-sided. It's got to be beneficial to everyone involved. But long term, these collaborations can start to pay off. I think a lot of the time people push this like you have to make like $10,000 per month in 90 days, and realistically that's probably not going to happen. So long term, you want to have like a long-term collaboration strategy, but if you're an introvert, just make sure it's sustainable. Like, so maybe every 2 or 3 months you're doing something, you're collaborating with someone. You're probably going to have a more gradual buildup of your audience, but over time your audience will start to build up, and you'll start to really attract more of your aligned target audience by doing so. So yes, it's definitely beneficial long term to have collaborations in your business.
So specifically who you're targeting, introverts that have high ticket offers. The high ticket offer is key here, I'm guessing, because it requires more trust. It's perhaps a longer sales cycle, generally speaking. And having that collaboration allows or can kind of help create that sustainability because you're relying on each other in that case. Am I thinking correctly here? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think so. So like collaboration helps you, and Simone kind of touched on this earlier in the conversation, but it kind of helps you build up that know, like, trust faster, a whole
Yeah.
lot quicker, because I think,
Which is crucial to high ticket, right? That's
exactly.
Yeah,
crucial to high
absolutely.
ticket. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And like for me, putting on a summit, that kind of helped me. Like, if people are constantly seeing me in these videos interviewing other people about topics that are important to them, guess what? I've got like, what was it? I think I had like 27 speakers, 26 or 27 speakers at my summit. And that's 27 touch points, assuming they watched all the videos, right? But that could potentially be 27 touch points that someone has to interact with me. That's 27 opportunities for me to build up my authority and build up that know, like, trust factor. And so, like, it really helps them get to that point a whole lot quicker, where, especially if you're doing high ticket offers, it helps you to build up that know, like, trust, that authority a whole lot quicker, so that you can get to those, people, high ticket clients a whole lot quicker.
Right. Awesome. So tying it in here with our V3, this is valuation. Relationships increase your business value over time, especially, right?
Okay.
The more relationships you have, the more valuable your business is, because it has all of these, various connections, which is exponentially more powerful, right? Partnerships compound your authority, again, using that leverage, sharing audiences, and then having sustainability around your visibility can only grow the value of your business, right? Because if your business is being seen where it needs to be seen by whom it needs to be seen, then that increases the chances that you're going to have people coming into your pipeline, the right people, and which is going to increase the chances that you're going to make a sale, etc. So this is the way to go. It seems like. All right. So let's get here
Curious.
last. Oh, go ahead.
I'm curious about, okay, you've done a summit, and that was an awesome collaborative experience. Are there any other collaboration ideas or partnerships that you've done that have born fruit, or do you like the summit idea the best?
Well, I mean, I'm just getting into my own collaboration phase in my business. So my summit was definitely the start of that. And then, from that, I'm now here, on your podcast. So this is a great opportunity as well. And I thank you guys for that.
Sure.
But I think just, I think whatever people choose to do to collaborate, just make sure it's in alignment, right? And just make sure that you're doing it, like I said before, like in a way that doesn't drain you. So, like, I can't say that there's one collaboration type that I like over another. Like, I definitely want to put on my summit. I want to make it at least a once a year type thing. And then maybe in between, start to do podcasts in order to build up my own authority. And I think podcasts are a great way. Like, if you don't want to like hard launch into collaboration, avoid doing a summit and maybe start with podcasts. That's probably the easiest way to start collaborating.
Hmm. Less people.
Yes.
Okay, so going back to kind of what we said earlier, about what can how can owners start collaborating when they feel isolated? Um, if somebody's out there trying to figure out, how am I going to start this collaboration plan? Do you have a different recommended first step there, or is it pretty much the same?
So, I mean, if you're feeling isolated and don't know where to start, I would say start looking at, like, do you have any current or past clients that you would like to collaborate with? That's always a great way to start. People who are already in your sphere and who you've already
Clients. Yeah.
interacted with. That's probably one of the best and easiest ways and less scary ways to try to get started with collaboration. It's just
And
looking for
clients is like
people.
an instant feedback, like
Yep,
testimonial almost, right? Yeah.
yep, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
Mm.
And then I would say from there, probably look for different like social media groups. Like Simone, I found you in a Facebook group, right? Like that's how we found each
Yeah,
other.
that's how we
Um,
connected.
yep, yep. And so there are Facebook groups out there for people who either are looking for guests for, their events, or who want to be guests on other people's events. So those are a great way to find people to collaborate with. Um, and then just also like looking through like other people's podcasts, right? Like wherever you go to listen to podcasts or view video podcasts,
Yeah.
look for those and who are people that you would like to collaborate with. So you can, like I said, so you want to start with your inner sphere, like who are people that you already interact with, that could be current or past clients. From there, you want to branch out and try to find like maybe specific social media groups where people go to specifically look for speakers for
Mm.
their events. And then, from there, you could branch out a little bit further and just kind of like maybe like do cold outreach to people whose
Yeah.
podcasts or events you'd like to participate in, and
Yeah.
entrepreneurs you'd like to collaborate with.
One of my favorite tools I often talk about on here is called Spark Toro, if you're familiar with that. Um,
I have
and it
not
was
heard of that.
okay. You should check this out because it's amazing.
Okay.
But it was developed by a guy that used to work for Moz, an SEO company, named Rand Fishkin, right? And
Okay.
this guy knows his stuff. Um, it allows you to research an audience based around certain keywords or certain websites that they might visit or certain words that they use in their profile and that kind of thing. And it tells you like social media channels that those are most likely to fit into, YouTube, podcasts, etc. Like it's incredible. So that I would recommend checking that out. But
All right.
if you want to start to hone in on things. But okay, so how and I think we kind of touched on this, like, trust your gut. But how do you, any other ways that people can filter out poor fits opportunities in this case?
I would say I really have to just go back to like having, like interacting with people, whether it's verbally on a video call, on a phone call, or if you're not able to do it that way, just via email. Those are probably going to be the best ways. And, you know, like usually, like if you're online and you're searching for people, usually you can go through their content and see like what do they post, what do they talk about, what's their energy like is this someone I trust? Like if I were in part of their target audience, would I buy from them? You know what I mean? Like would I be a client of theirs? It's probably a question you can ask yourself without having to actually get on a call or communicate with someone. But I would say the surefire way is just to start to communicate, whether it's in writing, over the phone, or on a video call, because that's going to be the quickest way. Usually, like in a 20-minute conversation, you'll know right off the bat whether or not you're aligning with someone. And if you can't get on a call with someone or a video call, and you're only communicating with them via email maybe or via messenger, you're going to find out real quick, because are they quick to respond back? That's going to tell you whether or not they're really and truly interested, right? If it takes them a week to respond back, they're probably not that into you, right? So,
What is it?
Way.
Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Is that the?
Yes,
What they do, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So do you have one collaboration, an example of a collaboration that you have made that's made a lasting difference thus far in your business, would you say, or
I would say the biggest
examples?
collaboration at this point was my summit, because like I said, like I'm just kind of starting out, you know, incorporating collaboration and leveraging collaboration into my business. So probably the biggest one would be the summit. And obviously from that came another opportunity for me, and that was to be here on your podcast today. So, you know, it's like one collaboration can lead to other collaborations. So don't ever be afraid to put yourself out there and to collaborate and be visible online. Like don't hide yourself, don't hide your gifts from the world. Because once you start to put yourself out there, I kind of feel like you kind of start to get it back. I guess you could say, like what you give out to the world, you get back. And so, like I said, for me, it was my summit. For someone else, it might just be starting a little bit, you know, slower, a little bit smaller. Maybe you start with a podcast and then just kind of springboard it from there.
Very good. All good advice. I know we're overdoing over time here. Are you okay, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. All right. We're like 10 minutes over here. So this has been such a great conversation. That just blew by, right? All right. So let's tie it in here with the V3 visibility. We're talking about expanding that expands your reach by combining audiences, right? Hopefully they're peers, and that makes sense. Viability, you are creating shared accountability, with each other by supporting each other, using each other as leverage, and hopefully streamlining your efforts, right? Maybe somebody does something a little bit better than you as far as like, getting things done, and vice versa. And then value, you're building a brand that, collaborates with others, has an expanded audience, and it compounds its authority through those relationships. So this is a great, I think, a great idea solution for all of our listeners out there. Something to strongly consider. Collaboration. You're creating visibility that lasts over time. I think that's crucial there, especially if you're doing high ticket. Like you were talking about. Products B2C, maybe, I don't know, maybe I mean, there's all kinds of examples of brands doing collaborations
with B2C
out
and
there,
B2B, there's lots of different, especially like collaborative opportunities, like say doing a JV partnership to both parties are launching launching a combined offer, say, and part of part of their offer is to, one of them is the first part. The customer comes in the door and, their path to success goes through that first person. And then the second person comes in and helps them get to the finish line with what they have to offer. I feel like there are lots of different partnerships that local businesses, as well as online business people can do in order to collaborate. So, a summit helps you to get in front of an audience that you wouldn't ordinarily get in front of, because, you're being introduced to all these other people's audiences. But then when you're doing a JV partnership and you're actually providing services maybe to someone else's audience, now you're building, you're not just bringing them in as part of, being introduced to them. Now you're actually working with people or providing services for people that you wouldn't ordinarily have access to. And so that takes it to a whole other level at that point. Because I've been talking about that, like for with some of these business coaches that I have in my audience, on my list. A lot of business coaches, they help their audiences and their clients to create their offers and build out and solidify their messages, and they help them with their mindset and all that stuff. And one of the things that I can do when I come in at the end and say, okay, now that you know what your offer is, now let's help you get it out there. Let's help you to implement, because it's the implementation that helps them to actually, get the results of what it is that they're trying to do. So
where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Real quick, Jessica, going back to local businesses, Simone mentioned it too. Do you find, well, I don't think we actually touched on this, but ways that local businesses can incorporate collaboration?
Wow.
Real
So
quick.
this is something that, I was starting to try to think about when I was still targeting local businesses in my agency. And one of the things that local businesses can do is just look at the other businesses in your community. And like, who are you situated around geographically as a business owner? And what are ways, like, is there another business in your neighborhood that is complementary to yours? So maybe you can have a joint partnership with them where, you're putting flyers at the front counter in their business, and they're putting flyers in yours. Or if someone comes to your business and purchases something, they'll get a coupon for a discount at someone else's business. So I would say, as business owners, local business owners, really start with the people in your own neighborhood. Who has a business that is complementary to yours that you can partner with, so that you guys can both start to build up business?
Yeah.
There's just this, just as an example here local to me. My wife came up and said, like, hey, can we go get some bread at the boba shop? I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And sure enough, we went down there, and it's somebody that's starting up a bread business that does not have a shop. They bake it at home, and they had a pop-up inside the boba and bubble shop here locally. Like, that's, that they partnership, obviously, physical space. Their customers would definitely overlap, but they're not competing, obviously, because the boba shop is not out for bread, So
it's all about filling a gap in needs.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a great way for businesses to start kind of like continue to serve their own audience, but also fill a gap for them as well. So having a pop-up inside of your business is definitely a great way to start.
And presumably the boba shop has been around longer. They have an established audience, right? And so you're kind of borrowing their audience for your own. So it's kind of the same idea. Okay.
I think
cool.
Local businesses need to think about that a bit more. It's because that cuts down on the need to advertise as much.
Especially if you're just getting started, right? This is
and you don't have that budget to do heavy advertising. Well, it's like, okay, this shop down the street is serving your ideal client. Well, you go
Yeah.
in there and say, hey, when they come in here to get whatever it is you're selling, put a coupon in their package for them to come down to my shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be some weird potential there too, like the boba shop having like the local a new bookkeeper, for example, coming, come in and get some boba and I'll do your books. I don't know if that would work necessarily, but I have to think these things through. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But I think it works great with like, the local pizza shop and the bowling alley or the skating
Yeah.
shop next door or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. Or I heard of one where it was people people who came in for to stay at a hotel. These are people from out of town, and presumably they're in town for a special event. They're staying at the hotel. Well, people from the local nail shop down the street had they had their coupons in the hotel and said, hey, well, come and get
there
your
you go.
nails done at our shop and you'll get,
Yeah.
we'll give
I
you
see.
a discount for just staying at this hotel.
A lot of times in local hotels, I'll see like local restaurants in like a
Hmm.
flyer or something like that inside, which makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. Yeah.
There was a hotel actually not far from here where you stayed at the hotel, you get 15% off breakfast at the IHOP around the corner.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool. All right.
like
Fantastic.
collaborations.
Indeed. So being aligned, I think the crucial point here, right? That alignment allows for sustainability, long-term success, and having the most valuable relationships are built over time. They're not bought. Okay. I There was a guy, Simone and I talked to somebody that recommended, buying your audience, buy a Facebook group, and that kind of thing. Okay, well, yeah. Anyway, that
I think it's
I
like
don't
you
know.
can, but
Yeah,
it's not as easy as they make it sound. Like you buy the
yeah,
Facebook group and now it's yours, and now all of these people will buy from you. Not
yeah.
necessarily,
It
because
seems
now
like it
you
should
got to
work.
get in there, and now you have to work on getting those people to trust you because it's not
Right.
just a Facebook group; it's a group of people, and I
Under
feel
new
like
ownership.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you can talk to them about like, hey, I just, I'm the new owner of the group and this is who I am and what I do. And you got to get in there and build up the relationship. You can't just I feel like you can
Yeah.
buy an audience, sure, but it's not as easy as, okay, now this audience is mine and I can now sell them all my stuff. Like,
Yeah.
no, now you have to it's you shortcutted the process of going out and finding all of these people. Sure.
Yeah.
And that's great. But now you have to actually build up a relationship. And some of them will leave because you're not the guy who was there to begin with.
Yeah.
They came for the
Yeah.
previous
Yeah.
guy. They don't know you. And so now
Hmm.
you have to build up the relationship. I mean, I'm all for having shortcuts, but it doesn't, but building the relationship can't be shortcutted.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
part has to you have to you have to put in the work on there, I think.
There's I guess an important kind of like intangible aspect of like the personality that you might not be able to recreate, but hopefully you are able to recreate the systems and processes that are in place, especially when it comes to building value in your own business, right? That relationship is important, right? But what keeps them sticking around is the experience that they have working with the business, and hopefully that works. But in that case, then you could buy that, right? But uh, anyway, there are still going to be people that leave. But anyway, um,
Yeah. And you got to be okay with letting them go. But
yeah.
and the ones who stick around are probably
Those are the
better
tried and true, right?
those are
Yeah,
the tried and true, and
yeah,
those are the
yeah,
people who are at least curious enough to hear what you have to say.
yeah, yeah. All right. So connect with Jessica at www.jmcooper.pro. We will include the link in the description so that you can reach out. If you feel like you are bumping your head up against the growth ceiling, you feel like you should be able to get to that next level, you can't figure out quite why, take our growth ceiling assessment. It's in the link or the link is in the description as well. And of course, well, Simone, I'm not going to steal your thunder here at the outro. I'll let you you finish
If
there.
I do a set outro, I don't really do a set outro. It's just kind
Well,
of,
you
hey,
remind
thanks for
everybody
coming.
to subscribe.
That's right. And I didn't do that at the top of the show. So I'll do that now. Subscribe. And if you learned something today, let us know what you learned. Put your biggest takeaway in the comments. And yeah, come back and see us again. Okay. And say hi to Jessica, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
All righty. Thanks, Jessica. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you.